10 days before the group's 10th anniversary celebration banquet, I was kidnapped and beaten into unconsciousness. When Yin rushed to the hospital, I had not yet fully regained consciousness and was still confused. I heard Yun's sigh echoing in the hospital room, then his secretary walked in. "Mr. Yun, the people who kidnapped your wife have been sent away. No one will find out anything." Have you contacted the doctor?" "Everything has been arranged. The lady will be sent out of the country tonight and then undergo surgery." "That's good. Make sure she doesn't find out." "Don't worry, Mr. Yun. It's just. Get to the point. I need to wipe Jing down. It's just that the lady will have to live in darkness from now on, which is undoubtedly worse than death. I will take good care of her for the rest of my life. I promised Jing that I would cure her eyes, so Jing will just have to put up with it." My tears flowed down the corners of my eyes, mixed with blood, barely noticeable. The man who had always claimed to love me deeply was actually the one who had hurt me the most. Since he had someone else in his heart, I would let them be together. "Alright, no more talk. Let's proceed as planned. Remove Jing's corneas and transplant them into Qing." Qing said that she loved Jing's eyes the most. "This is the only thing I can do for her now." The secretary frowned, clearly disagreeing with Yun's words. "Mr. Yun, would you like to reconsider? After all, she is your wife. If she finds out that you took her eyes and gave them to someone else, she will go mad. Besides, the lady is already pregnant." "What? Jing is pregnant?" "Yes, this is the report just released by the hospital. The lady is almost 2 months pregnant. The doctor said that it's a miracle she was able to keep the baby after such a severe blow. It's just that this child can't endure another eye removal surgery." "Oh, this time it's my fault, Jing. We'll have many more children in the future. Tell them abroad not to worry about the child. Arrange the surgery immediately." Yun held a towel and wiped my body over and over again. Every word she spoke was filled with tenderness. "Jing, just this once. From now on, I'll take good care of you. I promised Qing that I would find her the most beautiful eyes in the world, but she chose you, and there's nothing I can do about it." The secretary standing behind Yun sighed softly and shook his head helplessly. "The lady is deeply in love with you and has helped you achieve your current success. Can't you reconsider? Don't say anything. Let them prepare overseas. Remember, clean everything up thoroughly. Don't let Jing find out, or she'll be heartbroken." The secretary said nothing more and quietly left the hospital room. Then I heard Yin pick up her phone and make a call. "Once you arrive in Thailand, you will receive a sum of money. This money will be enough for you to live comfortably for the rest of your lives. Remember, never come back." I held back my tears and dared not make a sound. Yun wiped my face over and over again. But I couldn't feel any love for him anymore. Instead, I felt only utter disappointment. It turned out that all these years, Yun's love for me had been fake. He had only been attracted to my eyes. This kidnapping was no accident either, but a trap he had carefully set for me. For Qing, he was willing to go to such lengths. I once thought I had found the best man in the world. Little did I know that for the past 10 years, I had been living a life of lies and deceit. Now I have fallen so low that I have been blinded. I refused to give in and wanted to fight back, but they injected me with a sedative. Before being taken into the operating room, Yun held my hand tightly and said with a choked voice, "Jing, don't worry, I'll take care of you for the rest of your life. Even if you lose your eyesight, I will always love you." Everything in front of me suddenly became dim, followed by endless silence. When I opened my eyes again, I couldn't see anything. Not only my eyes left me, but also my child. Yun stayed by my bedside for a day and a night. When he saw me wake up, he was so happy he cried. He pressed his lips to my forehead and said softly, "Jing, are you awake? Does your body still hurt? If it hurts, bite me. It'll make you feel better." The same soft voice as before, but now it sounded cold. He took my eyes for Qing and abandoned our child. He really is a man of unparalleled virtue. I smiled and shook my head, raising my hand to touch his cheek. I don't hurt anymore, but why can't I see? Jing, I'm sorry. I didn't take good care of you. You were kidnapped by a gang of thugs who brutally beat you, leaving you seriously injured and blind. What are you talking about? This has nothing to do with you. It's my own fault. I'm tired and want to rest. You should go take a shower and get some sleep too. Seeing that I didn't react strongly, Yun finally felt relieved and promised to go home to get a document and then come back to keep me company. In his haste, he actually left his cell phone behind. I picked up my phone and fumbled with it in my hands, thinking that this phone was the wedding gift I had given him, and that he had been reluctant to replace it all these years. Without meaning to, I must have pressed a button, and heard a voice message on WeChat. Yun, where are you? I miss you so much. Yun, will you spend Valentine's Day with me this year? I'm alone, my eyesight isn't good, and I feel very lonely. Yun, why aren't you replying to my WeChat? Is Jing with you? There was a long string of messages that followed, all sent by Qing. At the bottom was Yun's reply, be good, I'm in a meeting. I'll come see you tonight and bring you your favorite strawberry cake. By the way, I've made some progress on the matter you mentioned. I'll come over tonight to discuss it with you. I recalled that he had once mentioned that he disliked being disturbed while he was busy with work. Only then did I realize that he wasn't averse to being disturbed in general, he simply didn't want me to disturb him. But when faced with someone he truly loved, he could let go of all his demands. I shook my head in self-mockery and turned off Yun's phone. Then I fumbled around to call my grandparents in the United States and asked them to handle the paperwork for me to go abroad. They didn't ask me much, but they could sense my distress and promised to expedite the paperwork and send someone to pick me up. After hanging up with my grandparents, I fell into a deep sleep, tears streaming down my face. When he woke up again, he was awakened by the chatter of two young nurses. How pitiful. To have his eyes gouged out like that and then lose his child. Yes, yes. I heard that Mr. Yun's first love only had some night blindness, which wasn't very serious. Yes, but Mr. Yun still gave up his wife's eyes for her. Then I heard Yun's voice. What are you gossiping about? Disturbing my wife's rest, get out of here. I was startled by his shout and suddenly opened my eyes, only to be embraced by Yun. Did those two nurses wake you up? I shook my head. No, I was sleeping soundly. I woke up when I heard your voice. Yun let out a soft sigh of relief, then hugged me even tighter. He was still playing the role of the devoted husband, and I didn't want to expose him. I just made an excuse that I wasn't feeling well and broke free from his embrace. Jing, I just got back to the company to pick up the property transfer documents. I've decided to transfer 40% of the company's shares to you as financial security for your future. Once you're discharged from the hospital, we'll go to the notary. A wave of sadness washed over her. Back when we first got together, he was just a penniless young man. After we got married, I relied on my grandparents' support to help him climb the social ladder. Now, he wants to use his 40% stake to buy my eyes and my children. He must have forgotten that this group should have been mine. At this moment, our fingers were intertwined, but I couldn't stop the physical nausea. After a long silence, Yun finally spoke again. Jing, the celebration banquet for the group's 10th anniversary is tomorrow. But your eyes. Let my sister Qing go in my place. She looks exactly like me. The media won't be able to tell the difference. I knew what Yun was thinking, and I didn't bother arguing with him anymore. Rather than letting him bother me with a bunch of nonsense, I'd rather take the initiative. At least I can have some peace and quiet. Yun was very surprised by my change of attitude towards Qing. After all, I didn't have a good relationship with her before. But he had already achieved his goal and didn't want to delve deeper into the matter. He simply stroked my forehead and said, "You're such a sensible child." The phone rang. It was the police station calling to confirm that I needed to come in person to process an urgent passport. Jing, why are you getting a passport? Yun's tone was a bit surprised. Oh, I applied for it earlier. I was planning to go out and have some fun after the company celebration banquet. Now it looks like I won't have that chance. He didn't ask any more questions, but simply held me close again and said gently, Jean, you still have a chance. From now on, I'll be your eyes. I'll take you to see all the beautiful sights in the world. Husband, I want to leave the hospital. I want to go home. I didn't want to listen to his sweet talk anymore, so I turned my head away and whispered. The arms holding me suddenly tightened. But you're not well yet, you shouldn't move. I rubbed my forehead against his chest and said coquettishly, with you and the nanny at home, I'll be taken care of better. Just let me go back. Yun's people were stationed at the hospital all day long, and it was impossible for my grandparents to take me away from there. I had to be discharged from the hospital. After much pleading and begging, Yun finally relented and took me home. On the way, Yun suddenly put a bracelet on my left hand. I felt it carefully, thinking that I had seen this kind of five-pointed star bracelet on Qing's WeChat moments before. Yun said that he had carefully picked out this bracelet for me. But I instinctively thought that these were just old things that Qing didn't want anymore. I closed my eyes, lay down on the seat, and refused to speak. It was time to end this carefully orchestrated scam. When we returned to the villa, Yun carried me to the bedroom and left in a hurry. I groped my way out of bed, intending to gather some bags and jewelry to sell. Although my grandparents weren't short of money, I didn't want Qing to get away with it. But just as I reached the bedroom door, I heard two servants whispering outside. The woman in Mr. Yun's study looked so much like his wife. You didn't know? She's his wife's twin sister. What? That's ridiculous. What's the big deal? I think Mr. Yun really likes her. The lady of the house dislikes anyone touching her belongings. Only a few designated people are allowed to enter her dressing room to clean it. Who would have thought that on that day, I saw the lady's sister in the dressing room trying on the lady's clothes and jewelry. It would have been fine if she had just worn it to play by herself, but she went out of her way to go to the study to show it to Mr. Yun. The key point is that Mr. Yun even complimented her, saying she looked better than the lady. Do you think Mr. Yun really likes her? I couldn't help but smile bitterly to myself. It turned out that everyone knew about Yun and Qing's affair, but I was the only one who was kept in the dark. When the servant finally left, I groped my way toward the study. Before I even reached the door, I heard Yun's voice. You've suffered so much over the years. Now that you're finally divorced and your eyes are healed, I can finally rest easy. Yun, don't say that. Although you weren't by my side all these years, you gave me everything you had. I didn't suffer at all. Yun sighed softly, her face filled with concern. It's all my fault for making you wait so long. By the way, this is the necklace I bought for you to celebrate your new life. Qing took the necklace, and her silver laughter rang through the tall door and reached my ears. Why did you buy me another gift? How many luxury items have you given me already? If my sister finds out, she'll probably be jealous. As she spoke, Qing leaned against Yun's chest, motioning for him to help her put on her necklace. Yun smiled, his movements extremely gentle, and finally praised her, It looks really nice on you. The butler seemed to have something important to report to Yun, so he hurried to the study, but bumped into me hiding in the shadows. Yun heard the noise outside the door and rushed out. Jing, what are you doing here? Don't get the wrong idea. Your sister got divorced and came here specifically to tell us. How ridiculous. She's my sister. She got divorced and didn't come to tell her own sister, but instead ran to her brother-in-law's study to flirt with him? Qing heard this and also came to me, smiling and saying, Sister, it's been a long time. I nodded to them, swallowed my tears, and said softly. I'm fine, I just slept in and wanted to get up and walk around. I don't know how I ended up here. You guys keep talking. I'm going to head to my room. With that, I leaned on the railing and slowly walked toward the bedroom. Yun thought I was angry and hurriedly grabbed my arm. Jing, don't read too much into it. Ching came to see you on purpose. He just happened to pass by my study and stopped to say hello. Listening to his somewhat hurried tone, I almost laughed out loud. To cover up his affair with Ching, he really would say anything. In order to replace me with Ching, he went so far as to hire someone to kidnap me, blind me, and even kill my child. Now that his evil plan has finally succeeded, who is he trying to fool with this act? Don't worry, I'm fine. I'm just a little tired and want to go back and rest. Hearing me say that, he finally let out a sigh of relief. Then I'll carry you back. Before the words, "No, you don't have to," could leave his mouth, Ching's screams pierced the sky. Oh my gosh, Yun, my stomach hurts so much. Come quickly. Yun's hand, which had been on my waist, suddenly withdrew. Then I heard him say gently, "Ching, are you okay?" Without looking back, I slowly made my way back to the bedroom, falling many times along the way but not uttering a sound. At the victory banquet, due to my mobility issues, Yun arranged for me to be seated in a private room. He, meanwhile, held hands with Ching and toasted the crowd in the main hall while being interviewed by the media. Mr. Yun, Mrs. Yun is truly beautiful. No wonder Mr. Yun didn't want her to show herself in public before. Haha, you flatter me. My wife is 10 times more beautiful than a fairy in my heart. As Yun spoke, he reached out and gently stroked Ching's face. The pent-up grievances in my heart finally broke through the defenses at that moment, engulfing me like a flood. I yanked off the 5-pointed star bracelet and threw it away with all my might. The next second, I heard the door open, and Ching walked in. How does it feel, sister? Being blind is pretty miserable, isn't it? I never thought that after all these years, you'd still be my defeated opponent. So what if your grandparents loved you? Now you're still a useless person. Your eyes are fixed on someone else, and your husband is arm in arm with another woman. Oh, just thinking about it makes me feel sorry for you. I struggled to stand up from the wheelchair, gritting my teeth and saying, Ching, don't get too cocky. Heaven has eyes, and the bad things you've done will eventually come back to haunt you. Oh? What did I do wrong? It wasn't me who took your eyes and killed your children, it was your husband. And I just blew a few breaths on his pillow. I was so angry at her words that I trembled as I walked unsteadily toward her, about to say something, when I heard her cries. Then Yun rushed in and pushed me backward. My ribs hit the corner of the table, and the pain was so intense that I couldn't tell which direction I was facing. Jing, have you lost your mind? Ching is your own sister. How could you do this to her? I couldn't see anything and had no idea what was happening. I could only stand there helplessly, clutching my stomach. Why did you stab her? What? I stabbed Ching? How could that be possible? Although I hated her, I knew that doing so was illegal. Just as I was about to explain, Ching's weak voice came through. Yun, don't blame your sister. She's just angry and has no place to vent. I stood there in disarray, a chill running through me. Yun, is that how you see me? I'm telling you, I never hurt her. As for why she's hurt, I think she knows best. Yun frowned, a hint of hesitation flashing in his eyes. What do you mean? Are you saying that Ching stabbed herself to frame you? That's ridiculous. She came here today to attend the company celebration banquet on your behalf, yet not only did you fail to express your gratitude, but you also harbored jealousy and hurt her. This is utterly unreasonable. Apologize to Ching immediately. His forehead veins bulged, and his fists clenched unconsciously. Just as I was about to argue with him, I heard Ching's voice, Forget it, Yun. How could my sister apologize to me? She's always been the apple of our parents' eyes, and I've always given in to her. Although I don't know why I upset my sister today, sister, for Yun's sake, I won't argue with you about who's right or wrong. I just want to settle this peacefully. Don't argue with Yun anymore. It's all your sister's fault. Ching was lying in Yun's arms, crying her eyes out. Yun wiped her tears tenderly, then turned to me and said, Look how sensible Ching is, unlike you, who's so bossy and jealous. My head suddenly buzzed, as if I had fallen into a bottomless abyss. The friendship I had shared with Yun for so many years had finally become a joke. He had just taken Ching away in front of everyone, leaving me behind in a living hell. I walked out of the private room in a state of disarray and returned home alone. As soon as I entered the door, I received a call from my grandparents. They informed me that they would come to pick me up in 2 days. At the same time, they also brought me some good news. They had already contacted leading ophthalmologists abroad and would definitely cure my eyes. I sat on the bed, stroking the neatly packed small bag. Only then did I realize that in the 10 years since marrying Yun, I had given him all my emotions and efforts, yet all I could take with me was this little bit. Over the next 2 days, Yun didn't come back. I heard he was at the hospital taking care of Ching. I didn't contact him either. But on the night before I was about to leave, I got a call from him. "Jing, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have been so mean to you that day. Just stay home and wait for me. I'll handle Ching's matter and come back soon. I prepared a surprise for you. Wait for me." I said nothing, just listened quietly to his words, then turned off my phone. For Ching, he took my eyes, killed my child, and wrongfully accused me without distinction. Now that he has finally achieved his goal and successfully driven me away, he can immediately marry Ching. So why is he still pretending to be so affectionate toward me? I'm tired. I don't want to play along with him anymore. This time I'm going to live for myself. Just before boarding the plane, I deleted all of Yun's contact information and vowed never to see him again, no matter what. At that moment, Yun, who was sitting by Ching's bedside, suddenly felt uneasy. He didn't know why, but he felt he should go home and check on Jing. After all, she hadn't contacted him in the last few days. In the past, whenever Yun was on a business trip, if she didn't receive a reply to her WeChat message for even a short while, she would immediately call him. This time, her indifference made him feel a little afraid. After calming Ching down, Yun was about to get up and leave when his secretary suddenly ran in, sweating profusely. "Mr. Yun, something's wrong. The lady has left." "She left? How is that possible? She can't see. How did she leave? Where did she go?" "It's true, the butler saw the lady get into a black BMW." As soon as the words left his mouth, Yun's face turned as pale as paper. Beads of sweat the size of beans began to form on his forehead. He didn't care about his dignity or Ching. He suddenly reached out and grabbed the secretary's shoulders. "Hurry up and find him for me. Check high-speed train tickets and plane tickets. You must find Jing for me." Ching was startled by Yun's intense reaction and immediately reached out to grab him. "Yun, don't worry, your sister can't see anything. Where could she go? She's probably just trying to scare you. Don't worry too much." In the past, Yun would have agreed with Ching. But this time, the uneasy feeling in his heart grew stronger, and he could no longer remain calm as usual. He suddenly shook off Ching's hand and said harshly, "Jing is your sister. She can't see anything right now. Don't you care about her at all?" Ching opened her mouth, perhaps not expecting Yun's attitude toward her to change so quickly. Then she heard Yun instruct the secretary in a trembling voice, "Hurry up and find him. Search high and low, dig 3 feet into the ground, and bring Jing back safely." The secretary was so frightened that she didn't dare to waste a moment and immediately turned and ran out of the ward. Yun also hurried back to the villa, hoping to find some clues that Jing had left behind. As soon as he entered the bedroom, he saw his wedding photo with Jing lying on the floor. Upon closer inspection, he realized that it was completely destroyed. He couldn't imagine how she, a blind woman, had managed to take such a large wedding photo off the wall and smash it to pieces. It seems that Jing is truly disappointed in him this time. He sits dejectedly on the floor, reminiscing about the past 10 years they spent together. They started from scratch, shared both the good times and the bad, and supported each other to build the family business they have today. What step did they take wrong? What led them to this point? At that moment, Ching walked in from outside. She looked at Yun, who was sitting on the floor, at a loss, and immediately rushed over to her. "Yun, don't be sad. Isn't it good that your sister left? Now we can finally be together openly. Yun slowly raised his head and looked at the face that was identical to Jing's, his heart filled with mixed emotions. After a long time, he suddenly stood up and pushed Qing to the ground. Qing, this is my final warning. Jing is my wife, now and forever. And you are merely standing in for her at the company celebration. That does not make you her wife. I helped you before because I felt sorry for you and wanted to use this opportunity to help you and your sister reconcile. But you are ungrateful and greedy. Leave, and don't ever show your face here again. A hint of resentment flashed in Qing's eyes. She had never understood why, even though she and Jing looked exactly alike, everyone had always preferred her sister. Her parents died early, and she grew up with her maternal grandparents, just like Jing. However, her maternal grandparents treated the two sisters very differently. They doted on Jing and eventually left her their entire fortune. Qing, on the other hand, was neglected and left to her own devices. Jing later married Yun, while Qing married a local bully. The unhappiness of her marriage made Qing jealous of Jing to the point of madness. So she climbed onto Yun. She thought she had won his heart. After all, he had even agreed to such an absurd request as taking Jing's eyes for her. But now it seems that she has wasted her time. Before Qing could say anything, Yun walked out of the room and shouted sternly. From now on, Qing is not allowed to enter my house. All of you keep your eyes open and don't let just anyone in. Another few days and nights passed, and Yun still had no clue about how I had left or where I had gone. At that moment, he was lying on the president's desk with red eyes, feeling utterly hopeless. Just then, his secretary knocked on the door and walked in. How is it? Did you find Jing? Yun quickly got up and rushed to the secretary. Seeing this, the secretary could only shake his head helplessly. Mr. Yun, do you think the lady found something? What do you mean? Otherwise, how could the lady have left so decisively? She must have started planning this days in advance. How could this happen? Everything was done in secret. Those who knew about it were either silenced with large sums of money or sent abroad. How would Jing know about these things? He had been thinking that once he was done with this busy period, he would take Jing abroad to see the world, as it had always been her wish. They could buy a house in a remote area, have many children, and live a comfortable life of their own. But how did things come to this? What did she hear during the days he was away? Did anyone say anything to her? He naturally thought of Qing. But at that moment, he had no time to think about anything else. He was determined to find his wife. He's such an idiot. For another woman, he actually harmed his own wife to such an extent. After graduating from college, Jing could have gone to the United States with her maternal grandparents to pursue further studies. But for him, she resolutely stayed, accompanying him in his entrepreneurial endeavors and enduring many hardships that were not hers to bear. They once swore to each other that they would never part ways, loving each other until their hair turned gray. Yet he broke his promise midway, leaving her in this dire situation. Tears of guilt welled up in Yun's eyes. At that moment, he wanted nothing more than to hold Jing in his arms and kiss her passionately. Mr. Yun, I warned you before. If you don't want people to know, don't do it. And that Qing guy looks like a bad person. How could a younger sister ask her brother-in-law to gouge out her sister's eyes? What kind of hatred is this? Yun shook his head in pain, as if he finally understood something. Don't say so much. Go find out where Jing's maternal grandparents settled in the UK. Jing must be with them. After the secretary left, Yun took out her phone with tears streaming down her face. The chat history stopped 5 days ago. Going back further, there were many messages sent to him by Jing. She liked to share things she found interesting with him. She sent him many messages, but he was slow to reply. Sometimes he found it annoying and even deliberately ignored her messages. And now, it had been nearly half a month since he had heard a single word from her. The thought of it made his heart ache unbearably. When I saw my maternal grandparents, I threw myself into their arms and cried like a child. My maternal grandmother held my face in her hands and asked with concern, "What did Yin do to you?" I was sobbing so hard I could barely breathe, and I told them what had happened in broken sentences. "Since they have treated you this way, we must give them a gift in return." My grandfather's tone was steady and solemn. I knew he would do something for me. On the second day after arriving in the UK, I was scheduled for eye surgery. The surgery was successful, and I recovered completely after half a month. However, on the first day I regained my vision, I saw the last person I wanted to see. Ching is standing right in front of me at this very moment. Sitting beside him are my maternal grandparents. I find it difficult to accept and cover my face and cry. My maternal grandmother hugged me tenderly and patted my back, saying, "Little Jing, don't be sad. Your grandfather has already punished her for you." I slowly raised my head and noticed that Ching in front of me was completely different from the person I had known back home. "Her eyes have been returned to her, and I have also retrieved your eyes for you." My maternal grandfather first said this to me gently, then turned his head and looked sternly at Ching. "Ching, you can go. From now on, you are no longer part of our family. Whether you live or die out there, it has nothing to do with us anymore." As soon as she finished speaking, Ching immediately knelt down, sobbing, "Please forgive me, sister and grandfather. This time, it was my fault. I will never do it again." "Forgive her?" "I can forgive her, but will my dead child forgive her?" I looked at her angrily, about to speak, when I heard my grandfather's voice. "You have only yourself to blame for all this. It is not the fault of others. You have had impure thoughts since childhood and enjoyed harming others. Our family can no longer keep you. Leave, and consider us as if we never raised you." Later, Ching was sent back to China by her maternal grandfather, who froze all her credit cards and left her to fend for herself. Meanwhile, my life in the UK gradually settled down, and I stopped paying attention to news from China. But Yun is a successful businessman, and YS Group is a publicly traded company. His every move is bound to have far-reaching consequences. So I still receive news about the group's impending bankruptcy every day. Netizens' harsh comments: "Yun rose to fame by relying on women, yet he has forgotten his roots. If only he had known then what he knows now." I saw Yun again 6 months later. He looked like he had aged more than 10 years. "Jing, please forgive me. I don't want anything now. I just want you." I looked at him helplessly and smiled. "Yun, do you think we still have a chance?" "Jing, it's all my fault, but I really love you. The person I've always loved is you." My feelings for Ching were just a passing infatuation. I have emotional purity. Once you're unfaithful, you're out. "Oh, since you love me so much, can you grant me a request?" Seeing that I had softened, Yun's eyes lit up, and she hurriedly nodded. "Jing, you say that even if you make me climb a mountain of knives or walk through a sea of fire, I would do it without hesitation. What are you saying? How could I ever hurt you?" "Then what do you mean?" "I only want you to promise me that from now on, we will never see each other again, not even in life or death." After saying that, I turned around and left casually. Yun stood where he was, staring blankly for a long time, finally feeling reluctant but helpless.